Hey guys, welcome to this acrylic painting lesson. I'm Mike Ferris. In this particular hibiscus painting, I want to give a big shout out to a good friend of mine who lives in Paradise here on the same island I do, who took this picture and posted it on social media. And then I asked her if I could use it in this tutorial, and she was like, yes, absolutely. So Jamie, thank you so much for this piece, and I dedicate this to you and everyone else. I want to give you a big shout out and dedication as well. You are all super awesome, and thank you for all your support, and I hope these lessons find you well. I'm going to be on an 11 by 14 inch hardboard canvas, and as you can see, I already have my image laid out, and this is from the Traceable Image you can get down at Patreon if you'd like help with the drawing process. And I'm just going to start up here in the sky area with a general light blue color. So I'm going to start with my number 11 flat brush here, and on my palette I've got Phthalo Blue, Raw Umber, Burnt Umber, Cad Yellow, Cad Red, Magenta Red, Cad Yellow, Titanium White, and this is optional Neon Orange, and this is just to make the more vibrant Magenta Red more, make it pop a lot more when I put in the different highlights on the hibiscus. So for now, I'm just going to do the background here in blue. So I'm just going to take some Phthalo Blue, and I'll dull it just a little bit with some of this raw umber. Not much. And now a good scoop of white. So I'm thinking somewhere around here. And just going to load up the flat brush here pretty well. And of course you can use any brush you want, whatever you're comfortable with, any size, it's all good. I'll just start up here, and I'll just start applying this and just kind of doing crisscross strokes. It just really helps to blend it better. And I'll just bring this down. Okay, after a quick dry on medium heat with a hair dryer, this is so that I don't mix in my cloud color into the sky blue color here, and I can get the clouds to kind of fade off into this color a little bit. So I've got my number 9 natural round bristle brush. As you can see, the bristles are very stiff and spread apart and sort of this round shape here, and these are perfect for clouds. I recommend these brushes when doing clouds. And with a dry brush, I don't want any water at all on this, just a little bit of paint on the brush, and I'm just going to scrub and just kind of move in these circular motions and kind of take it around kind of wherever I want. So I'm just going to take some titanium white, and as you can see, just a little bit of paint on the brush, and I'm going to tap a lot of that off. Okay, just something like that, just barely any on the ends of the bristles there. And something like right up here, there'll be a little bit of clouds up here. And I forgot to mention this background. What I'm going to do is make it blurred out and give it that bokeh effect. And again, these natural round bristle brushes make that effect super well. So both for the clouds and for the out of focus effect, the natural round bristle brush really tackles those both super well. And I'm just going to be using this primarily for the entire background. So as you can see, as I get down, it just kind of blends off and it gives it that nice cloud effect right away like that. Okay, so I'm just going to go and just kind of put these wherever. Again, I want them primarily in here. There's a few out here, but this is your painting. You can do everything you want to do or follow me to a T. It's all up to you. Okay, so as you can see, I did a little bit heavier paint here, and what's cool is wherever you want these clouds to really light up, or where you want them the thickest and the brightest, you just want to apply the paint there first, and then just kind of drag it out, and as paint runs off the brush, it blends into this faded cloud and just really gives it that nice realistic dimension and makes them pop a little bit more that way. So now I'm going to go a little bit heavier with paint because I got an area that I really want to fill in here. So as you can see, a little bit more paint on that, and right up here where I want it the heaviest and where I want these clouds to really get full. And then of course I'll fade them out just kind of like this. And notice I turn the brush over, a little bit more paint is applied. And we are styling. All right, going into a little bit more pigment here. Okay, just loading up. Actually, I want to load up just a little bit more again. And I really want to make this a little bit thicker and heavier in here. This is supposed to be like a really big cloud. But again, in your painting and in your world, it is any cloud that you want it to be. And using these brushes and loading them without any water really is ideal for making cloud effects. So really go for it. If you want to use a flat brush instead, definitely use that, whatever you're comfortable with. But for me personally, these round brushes are my absolute favorite for doing these things. Yeah, of course, anything you don't like, take this blue and cover back over any of this cloud stuff that may be too much, or if you just don't like it or whatever. All good. Acrylics, is one of the most forgiving crafts I think I've ever done. You can really do anything you want anytime, fix anything, make something different from whatever. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to block in just some general color in the background. And I'm going to go back to my number 11 flat brush here and just kind of do just kind of a general basic green. So I'm going to take a little bit of raw umber and some Cad Yellow. Maybe something kind of like this. A little bit more yellow into it. That gives it more of a green hue to it. The more yellow I add to it, and it just kind of makes this army green kind of effect, like so. And maybe a little bit more raw umber into that. And now just a hint, or just a little bit of Phthalo Blue. Okay, so maybe something like this. And I like to pick it up and smash it and just kind of go back over it like playing hockey with it maybe. And then pick it up again and just kind of do that maybe. Okay, so again, my number 11 flat brush, I'm just going to load this up, and this is just going to again be just general base color, more or less shadow. And I'll just start applying this pretty much generally around everything, just again for the background. Okay, so I've got my number 4 natural flat brush, and again with the natural bristles, I'm going to be able to get some sticks and twigs and some branches and stuff like that, and these natural bristles are going to really again help to give it those fuzzy lines, to give it that out of focus effect. So again, no water on my brush, and I'm just going to take some raw umber and titanium white, and a little bit of burnt umber to that. And let's see, a little bit more raw umber. I want this a little bit darker. Okay, maybe just something like that. And just gonna wipe a lot of that paint off the brush. I don't want a whole lot again. And I'm just gonna start going up into here and just kind of making these little things, just distant trees and whatnot. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of fill this in a little bit like this. Kind of here and there. I'm just gonna sort of streak some of these little dark areas in just a little bit like this, and just kind of show some branches. You can do this kind of however. Another thing you can do too is if you don't want to use the natural bristles because you're trying to do smaller looking branches, is use just a regular flat brush, and you'll get a hard line, but then what you can do is take the blue sky and then just sort of brush over it, and it'll give that same effect where some of the blue's on top of this and sort of fading over it, and it gives that out of focus look that way as well. So whichever you're comfortable with, just different options, and I may actually go to that other option here in a minute just to see. I don't know. So let's see. And you can even do these little tap things like this. See, and that kind of gives the indication of some brush maybe. Okay, just kind of something like so. Okay, just a little bit of paint on the brush, and you can just sort of tap this out. Kind of create this distant, again, out of focus foliage on the trees here. Okay, whatever you want to do. And anything, cover it up again if you don't like what you're seeing. Okay, so again, just kind of doing these things. Whichever. And let's see, I'll do stuff up here, just kind of whatever. So just kind of have fun, play these effects around, use the brush, practice some of this stuff, and just kind of see what your brush wants to do and see what you can do and what you want to see kind of happen here a little bit. Again, with out of focus, it's really just not too critical, but at the same time I want to be able to give the impression that it is a tree, it is foliage and all of that going on. So just going to, let's see, add some more of this paint, and again, just kind of tapping these things out. Okay, so you just kind of do whatever you want to do. Get a little bit more raw umber into that, just to darken that brown. There's something of a branch coming out of here, maybe, I don't know. Alrighty, I don't know, so let's see. Gotta maybe have something. Oh, again, just getting these little tree branch things. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to use my finger here a little bit. See if I can get that line a little bit better than that. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, so something like that. I'm gonna actually go into my script liner brush now, and lots of water on the script liner brush. And I'm gonna go into some more of this raw umber and burnt umber, a little bit of white mixture here. And as I pull, I'm gonna turn it, and it brings it to a nice sharp point. And with this, I'm just gonna go in and kind of do these things here. Something like this. And just grab a little bit of white, not much. And I just kind of want to settle down over some of this, just like that. And that really fuzzes them out and again gives it that out of focus look. Okay, just however. All right, I want to go back in now with some highlights, and I want to take a little bit of this Cad Yellow and a little bit of this raw umber. Okay, and now titanium white. So actually a little bit more of this raw umber, I'm sorry, burnt umber. Okay, a little bit more white into that. I'm thinking something about like that. It's kind of got this highlight tree color sort of thing going on here. So I'm just going to tap into the bristles just a little bit, and I'm going to go in here and just sort of just kind of do something like this. Just kind of over some of this dark here. So then it has the shadow underneath, and that gives it more of a definition that way. Even though it is blurred out, it gives it more of a realistic look. And some sunlight just kind of playing through and hitting these trees up a little bit. And just kind of something like this. Same thing on here. You tap just a little bit more pigment on the brush. Okay, without cleaning, I'm just going to take some titanium white now, and I'm going to tap, tap, tap Get a lot of that paint off the brush, and just kind of right in here. Maybe there's these little kind of light kisses, yeah. You just sort of like that. That kind of takes that bokeh to another level too this way. And just adds some more of that. Those kind of round circles that you get. When you look at bokeh stuff, it has those round lights like this. So just kind of indicating some of that in here as I put some of this in. Again, as the motto goes, here and there, but not everywhere. Meaning not letting any one effect or any one color take over the entire orchestra of the painting. But we want all the colors as if they were instruments all playing together at the right tones and in the right way, and then just brings a awesome melody. Okay, so something like that. However, kind of fading that over a little bit. You can do it like this. Okay, so something like that. And one thing I did forget to do real quick was add this background color right along the side of the tree here. So no worries on that. I'm just gonna grab my number 4, what is this? Yeah, number 4 natural flat brush here. Just gonna load that up and I'll just say like this. With my same flat natural brush, I'm going to go in now and make some leaf indications here. Actually, before I do that though, I want to fill the tree in here, so I'm actually going to go back to my number 11 flat brush here, and I'll just make up just a basic, see, just a little bit of Cad Yellow, some burnt umber, good scoop of white here. I want to just make like, I don't know, something more or less like this. See, a lot more white. Okay, just a base coat again. I can add colors on top and adjust stuff, whatever I want to do. So just gonna get this all the way ran up and down the tree here. Okay, something like that. And I'll let that dry for now, and that way I can add more values in different colors and different details, and they won't get swallowed up into one color by mixing in with the wet paint and just making one color. So I will come back to that. And so now I'm going to go with, again, my number 4 natural flat brush here to start doing some more brush and leaf indications up in here. So what I'm going to do now is go with, let's see, I'm going to go with some Phthalo Blue, just a little bit, some raw umber, and some Cad Yellow, and some titanium white. So let's see, something about maybe some more raw umber to that. Okay, maybe some more blue, actually some more raw umber. See, so I kind of make a pile of colors and I'm like taking some of it this way and then I'm bringing it back into some lighter stuff where there's more white hanging out. So You know, a lot of times with color mixing, you kind of want to sort of spread it out and just see kind of the different tones you get with more or less of what other color, you know, this or that, more or less white, and kind of find your value. So, and after a while, of course, you get used to general basic tones and you pretty much know what colors are involved with what. So, but along the way, you get these little things where you're trying to find within a world of, you know, in a general world, you're trying to find more specifics. And so you can see how that's a little different now than the rest of this. So this is more or less what I was looking for. And I'll just kind of wipe some of that paint off. And I'm just going to go up here and just, again, put in some different leaf and some brush indications. So I'll just use the corner of the brush and just kind of do something like this. Just kind of come out here and just kind of tap some things. Okay, so there really is no certain way. Just kind of think of a leaf like a kind of a pear shape in a way. And for me, I just kind of start up at the top and then just kind of tap out a little bit. And of course, I want to do random shapes too. I don't want to do them all like pears because you kind of lose that realism, and sometimes backgrounds or whatever it is, if you do too much of something, it can stand out and kind of distract the eye. So I'm kind of just wanting to make just some subtle things and, like I said, some indications where nothing really looks too off, but it's like natural and of course blurred out with the effect of the natural bristles. Just kind of something like this. Now I'm going to take a little bit of burnt umber. You're just tapping that off and kind of right along here. Just kind of want to tap some stuff here, just some shadow. Shadow here. You can see some brush along on this side of the tree. So I want to knock back some of these leaves, and I'm going to go into some titanium white just for more of that cloud effect. And with my number 4 natural flat brush, I'm just going to go in here like this. Just sort of take this down and just like this. See that? I can just, anytime I want to do something, just like that, and I can sort of fade over that a little bit, and even right here, and say no to some of the leaves. Anything I want to do. Okay, maybe it's a little bit brighter right there, I don't know. Just kind of make it work for you, you know? And kind of do what you want to do. And what's cool too is I could take again more white. And just sort of tap that on. And it just kind of opens up some of these brush areas to have maybe a little bit more light playing through there, and see anything you want to do anytime. Want to open something up, want to make it more covered. It's all good. Okay, so now I'm going to continue on with some of this brush stuff. Brush stuff. I'm going to keep, let's see, going on with some more of this highlight stuff. I'm going to take some Cad Yellow now, actually, and kind of go into Maybe a little bit of raw umber into that. Okay, a little bit more yellow, a little bit more white, and maybe some of this color in there as well. Just kind of looking for sort of this dull yellow but highlight kind of color. Yeah, maybe something like that. Okay, and I just want to go in and just sort of hit some of this. Just kind of sparkle some of that up maybe. And I can add even some of that in here, maybe, I don't know. Again, I'm going to put some of that over here. I don't know, maybe something like that. And now what I want to do is start building some of this foliage stuff, but work this down a little bit and show some grass, maybe a little bit of indications. So I'm just going to now get a little bit of Cad Orange. And I don't know if you guys can hear that, but that's rain. It's been raining all day long. And that's good because I need the rain here. I've got a big garden I gotta feed, so let it rain. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead now and mix up this orangey yellow and add a little bit of burnt umber into that. So it's kind of like this, kind of a glowy orange, sort of earthy color, I guess. If that makes sense. So I'm gonna take that and just sort of do sort of these things like this. And I'll bring this down a bit like this. Maybe kind of show some sun hitting this thing a little bit. Okay. So about something like that. Just sort of fading that down and off of that. So I'll put some of that color over here as well. And I'm going back to my number 4 natural round, I'm sorry, not round, flat brush, natural flat brush here. And again, I'm going to take some raw umber. And again, just a little bit of paint on the brush, and I'm going to just go something like this, just like this little branch up here like this. And I'm just trying to use just the very edge of the brush here, so as you can see, just kind of something like this. Something like that, okay, something like that. And I'm going to go into this green color that I made before. Maybe a little bit more yellow into that. And maybe a little bit more white. Okay, so making something about like that. And I'm just going to make these little leaf indications here. Maybe something like that. And I want this a little bit darker of a green, so I'm going to add some raw umber into that. I'm thinking something more like that. It's more like an army green kind of a deal here, so not too much darker, but as you can see, like that. Okay, and then Sort of bring this up. Okay, maybe something like that. I'm going to take this leaf out just a little bit more. There we go. So something like that. And there's one there. Maybe a little bit more raw umber into this. And I'm going to go one more right here. Okay, so right here, just going to do a little bit of a shadow. That, and let's see, maybe something like that. All right, and I'm going to go now again, some more raw umber into that green. So it's just a little yellow, some raw umber, a little bit of phthalo blue, some white, just kind of going for the tone there, kind of playing with that to see what comes out of that. And actually, I want to go a little bit more yellow into this and more white into that. Let's see, something like this. Maybe a little bit of blue. Yeah, let's see. There we go. And a little bit more yellow. A little bit more white. Yeah, maybe something like that. Maybe wiping some of that paint off, and just gonna come in here and sort of do some other leaf indication here. So maybe something like, I don't know, something like this maybe. And again, just feel free to kind of do this however you can make your background, however you want to do it. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of a highlight on this, a little bit on here as well. Okay, so keeping most of this out of focus, as you can see. I'm just going to sort of add some of this foliage color in here a little bit. And just kind of make this more of a, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to start playing this general green value in now with like blades of grass kind of thing. And again, I want to use my natural bristles for that out of focus effect. And I'm going to take this phthalo blue and phthalo green color. And as you can see, it's got this nice grass tone to it, and this will show up really well against the dark background here that I put in. So now what I want to do is just kind of, you just kind of bring this into this color a little bit like that, and sort of doing something like this. It's kind of just kind of brushing it in. You see what I'm saying? That's like it just kind of has that out of focus kind of grass effect to it. So maybe in the distance there's some ferns here, it looks like. And you just kind of give the indication of some of those like that. All good. Okay. So this is one value. I'm just playing this green in. I'll change green value tones and all of that, but for right now I'm just Kind of putting this here and there, but not everywhere. You know, as the motto goes, just letting other values play along with it. As you can see here, not covering up the entire dark stuff because you want that as shadow, but just, you know, just kind of letting this happen. However, anything you don't like, again, take the background, cover up some of these. Maybe you want to make a line thinner for more grass effect. So totally thin that line out using this dark background color to do that if you need to do that. And just really just see what happens and just really see what you want to do and just kind of lay it down however. Okay, so as you can see, it's starting to look like brush and it's really starting to come together in this kind of way. Okay, a little raw umber into that yellow and blue there. It's mostly yellow, as you can see here. And your tones don't have to be exactly like anything, and you can always change them. So of course, the more layers and stuff that you put down, the better everything starts to look. So yeah, you just go with the layers and don't worry about how things look. And acrylics, it's all about layers and stuff playing together and getting color up and getting everything established. So it's all good. Let this stuff just happen. It will just turn out. You just trust the process. Acrylic paints has a magic of his own, and you just really just need to let it work the way that it does, and it will work. Okay, so look at that. I'm just putting some fern indications in, maybe, yeah, and maybe some more stuff like this. I don't know. However, wherever. Okay, so now I'm going to go back in and take some raw and burnt umber, some Cad Yellow, some titanium white. And it kind of makes this sort of stick color here. This is something like that, maybe. Maybe, you know what? Maybe a little bit more white. Okay, something like that, I'm thinking. And just gonna go kind of stick like this. And again, just letting these natural bristles just kind of make that fuzzy edge just a little bit there. Okay, so I'm gonna come in here and just kind of do these things here, these little sticks here. Okay, something like that. And it looks like there's some sticks laying like this. Okay, something like that maybe. Alright, I'm going to take some more white now into that green with a little bit more Cad Yellow, and as you can see, it's a little bit more vibrant than what I was using. And totally what I want, because I want to come in here and just here and there, just boom, watch this, bang. Just kind of want to add some highlight stuff, yeah, like this. Okay, and See if I can get some more striking things here. You can just really go for it. See what you come up with. See what your brush wants to do. And let's see, let's go. Cool thing with these ferns, I can highlight them up. Sort of do stuff like this. Okay, stuff like that. Make those pop to show up a little bit more. See that? A lot of ferns in Hawaii. So let's see, looks like that. You can just kind of pick out where you want them, you know. Maybe you want one right here. I don't know. Just kind of starts to look like it's a jungle happening now. See that? Just like that. Super fun. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit more white now into this stick color that I made. And with this, I really want to sparkle up some of these and make them pop a little bit. So as you can see right here, and I'll cover this up with the foreground leaf right there. That's going to be in front of this stick, so that's all good. I'm just going to go like this. And just sort of play these in, these different colors and tones. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just take a little bit of Cad Orange and a little bit of raw umber to that. And titanium white. Let's see, something like this maybe, yeah. And just kind of sort of play these in just a little bit, show just some color in the stick here a little bit. And maybe some things that are going on right here. I don't know. Who knows? Just different stuff. Okay, so scratching that value in. Maybe there's some right here and right there. Just to kind of add some interest there, maybe a little bit. And a little raw umber now. And I kind of want to go onto these sticks just a little bit and kind of show a little bit of some texture. Okay, I just want to add some raw umber here and there to this. Okay. Okay, so in between some of these sticks here, I'm just going to add some of this raw umber. Let's just show some shadow in here and just some different things. So you can kind of add dimension and just kind of throw shadow around however you want to throw it in there. Just kind of something like that. I can go in between these little fern leaves here. Actually, they're not very little, they're quite big here. These things get huge. Yeah, see, look at that. I can make those pop a little bit, throw some of the highlight in, or I'm sorry, shadow in between these leaves. Okay, see, just like that. And I can go like this, just kind of wherever, and all right, so what I want to do now is I want to pop some really bright highlights out of that brush just a little bit. So some Cad Yellow and some titanium white. You can see how bright I'm getting that there. And I want to go back into that green just a little bit. But mostly this bright yellow color here with this hint of some of that green. And I just want to strike just some of this. I want to take my number 2 natural round bristle brush and I want to take pure titanium white and just a little bit of that color, a little bit more, and I just kind of want to tap it evenly. So it's kind of just a little bit on the brush like this, and I want to go up here. I just kind of want to do these little bokeh kisses like this. See, just those little subtle things, I tell you, they make all the difference on the effects in a painting. And just like that, see, just little things, just kind of here and there. Show some of this light play going on. See in there like that, that really takes that bokeh to another level this way too. It just brings in that, the components that go within that world. You've got the fuzzy lines, you've got the circle dots for the light, and it just tells the brain, this is out of focus. Give me some glasses now. So there's this, and just kind of wherever, you know, just kind of these things here. And then right in here, and then kind of fade those off a little bit more. So just like that. I'm going to go with my number 4 natural flat brush again, and I'm going to take some titanium white, just a little bit of this raw umber to it. Maybe something like this. Okay, and let's go. And What I'm also going to do is take some raw umber and I'm just going to go in here and just sort of place some of this in here. Yeah, I can just, doesn't have to be all nice and neat, just throw it up there. Boom, boom, boom. Cover anything up again if you don't like something. I want to take some of this dark color again, and I want to go kind of on top of the tree a little bit, kind of like this with some of this brush. Okay, so that way, from there, I'm going to clean the brush. And I'm going to dry it off, and I'm going to take, again, that same green. I'm going to take some Cad Yellow, some Phthalo Blue, and I just want to take and create another fern, say, right here. That, and I'm actually going to get a little bit more blue into this. That way, shows up just a little bit more. There we go. I want some of this on here as well. And again, I'm going to take some raw umber. And I'm going to go just kind of in here a little bit with some shadow. I'll play that back in here. Alright, something like that. And now I'm going to take just a little bit of Cad Yellow. Again, and I just want to hit some of these highlights here. So now I'm going to take a little bit of raw umber into some of that yellow mixture. I just kind of want to go in here again and just kind of do this. Okay, a little bit of raw umber. You're just showing some things in here. Okay, so I have my number 12 angle brush. I'm going to use this because of this fine tip on the end here and these other bristles out of my way that angle down like this. And of course, I want to use it this way, not this way. See that? I want the edge to come off like this. And this is going to really help to get into these small areas here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this Cad Red and I'm just going to block in the general values where they go. So Cad Red will be pretty much a base coat for this whole flower. Okay, now I'm going to pick up some burnt umber. I'm sorry, raw umber, and a little bit of this Phthalo Blue. And let's see, a little bit of this, I'm sorry, not magenta, regular Cad Red. Oh goodness, I'm tripping up all kinds. Okay, so this dark value here, we're going to have this in the center here. I'm just going to put that, block that in right here. So again, this is just blocking stages for our hibiscus flower here, and of course I'll change the values of different reds and tones and highlights and all of those things here in just a moment. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and clean my brush. Alright, and while I'm at it, I forgot there's a little bit of background missing here. So I'm just going to go into some of that yellow and raw umber. And just kind of something like that. Just kind of fill this dark area stuff in over here. So I want to get a little bit of this Cad Orange now, and some of this regular Cad Red into that, a little bit of titanium white, and a little bit more red, a little bit more orange. So that's a little different value, and I want to go and block this little stem in here with this. Okay, something like that. And of course with acrylics, as you can see, it's all this uneven kind of holes in some places like here, and it's all good. Just getting color down where it goes and not worried about anything. Okay, so moving right along, I'm just going to now take some yellow and a little bit of phthalo blue. Okay, just straight up a green like so. Okay, and I'll just go and start blocking in. Actually, my bad. You know what I want to do is dull that actually first. I want to take some raw umber into that. And I want to do this first. Okay, so just like this. Okay, just a little bit more burnt umber into this. And I want to go something like this. Okay, and down here. Okay, so I'm just going to take this general army green color here, and I'm just, again, blocking stages, and then I'll change values and place them on top of this base color stuff here in just a moment. So I'm just going to go with this for now. Okay, and these are going to be a different value than those. So what I'm going to do is actually take a little bit more Phthalo Blue now into this green. And as you can see, it's a lot different value. And I'm going to say like this with this value. And without cleaning, I'm just going to take some titanium white now. And I'm just going to hit the highlights of the leaves here. And just like that. And very little pressure. I can just kind of dust this down even with my angle brush. So you just kind of like that. And just kind of streak in these highlights a little bit. So you got these little things here happening. And then you got these highlights here. And then you just kind of want to fade that down, just sort of blend that into that other green value here. And it's all about the values playing together, and then the blends and the transitions. It just shows light and it shows dimension and all that. So this is what we want on things. Okay, getting those different tones of colors and just kind of doing these things here. Okay, and then also down here there's some light playing on this one. Kind of like that, and something like this. Okay, something like that. Now what I want to do is really brighten this up. This is a really vibrant, very vibrant area here. So you can see just some yellow and white that I've added there, and I'm going to hit this right here, really make this pop. And I kind of want to bring it down. Just kind of right here where the leaf kind of hits right there, and then it's going to be a little bit different. And then right in here. Okay. Okay, something kind of like that. What I want to do now is I want to go back up in here and I want to add another coat, because as you can see it's just very, very thin. So I'm going to go ahead and take again some Cad Red. I'll scoop quite a bit of it up and just kind of do this again. Okay, another coat one more time for base coat here. Okay, I'm going to let that dry and then I'll be able to put other values down and start hitting the light on it and shadow and showing all the folds in 3 dimensions without those values mixing into this red that I just put down, and then just keeping it all the same, as you know. Okay, so now that these coats are dry, I'm going to go ahead now and start placing highlights and building up dimension on top of these values, on top of this value here. And so now I have my number 2 flat brush, and I'm going to take some Magenta Red, and into that I'm going to take some Cad Yellow. And now I'm going to take some of this Neon Orange. And that Neon Orange is really just to make everything more vibrant and pop that much more and give it that effect. So I'm going to say something about like this. Get a little bit more red in there. Okay. So I'm going to start placing these highlights and leaving some of this red as kind of a shadow color. And anything I don't like, I can just take, of course, and cover back one value over another. So with that, I'm just going to go down right here. And I'm just going to start placing this general value. And you can see the vibrant color there against this darker red here. And so kind of starting my curve here. So as you can see, it kind of shows the petal and the dimension there when I do that. So I'm just going to basically play this around, and you know, again, anything you don't like, just cover it up if there's an angle that's wrong, a line that's too wide, or whatever it is. Okay, so as you can see, these highlights here are starting to build some stuff just a little bit. And this is, again, just the beginning stages, and I'm going to go and build this up, change some values, make it more vibrant. But for now, pretty much just want to get the values where they go and the coats laid down enough to where it gives me something to launch off of that is full enough and vibrant enough to do that. So, and I'm going to go back to my number 12 angle brush, because I can get with this tip really nice lines and show some of the texture of the flower here and just different highlights better that way. So I'm going to go now a little bit more magenta, a little bit more of this Cad Yellow, and some of this Neon Orange. You can see how the orange just really ramps it up and fires this color up super awesome. And so with the tip, I'm just going to go up but I am going with the curve of the flower the way I want it to be. So, and I'm kind of stopping about right here just to show some shadow and turn on the leaf there. So right up here, I'm just going to kind of hit the rest of that with this value. And let's see, I'm going to get some in here. A little bit more red, a little bit more white. Just kind of want to pick some more of these things up here. Okay, so what I want to do is just kind of come in here like this. Okay, and just kind of play these little lines in. And again, if you don't like something, take the red, knock that back. All good. So I'm really just going to go for it, not worry about how neat everything is yet. I may even turn my picture just like this. The ergonomics, you know, they just kind of don't want to play nice. So sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. Okay, so now I'm going to take some regular Cad Red and mix it with just a little bit of Magenta Red. And to that, I'm going to go a little bit of raw umber, not too much. And so a little bit more magenta into that. So I'm trying to keep it darker, but keep its vibrance intact just a little bit as well. So I'm thinking something like this. And I'm going to apply this right here. See, kind of like that, and it's kind of like a shadow area here. Up in here a little bit. See, and it starts to bring out the depth and dimension here. As you can see, it's really starting to take off. And this is super simple. Just put a little bit of paint on the brush, take a value, streak it in with those other values, and I'm telling you, it just kind of plays in there nice. And you know, again, anything you don't want to see, just knock it back, cover it up, and it's all good, all gravy. Yeah. Again, with my number 12 angle brush, I'm going to go back in now, some more of this Magenta Red, some more of this Cad Yellow, and a little of this Neon Orange, and some Titanium White. Okay, something like this. And let's see, I'm gonna go kind of something like this and just kind of put this striking kind of sun highlight right here. Okay, now what I want to do is take just a little bit of this magenta and regular Cad Red and right in here, just kind of wanted to do this and wipe a lot of that paint off, and I'm just gonna very little pressure. Just kind of take this up, see that, just like that. Just kind of fades it into that. Okay, and now I'm going to take a little bit of white. Okay, not much, and right here, just going to kind of have this blend back over this red a little bit right in here. Okay, so with that on there now, I'm going to go ahead and take neon orange here, a little of this Cad Yellow to it, and just a little bit of this red to it, not much. And let's see, a little bit of white. And let's go back in. There we go. So a little vibrant stuff like this, and that really pops us out of here. Okay, I want to take just plain magenta now, and maybe just a little bit of Cad Yellow, just to add some vibrance into that. Okay, something like that. And I want to go back over just some of these areas here. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit of white to that. I'm going to go back to my number 2 flat brush, and I'm going to go into some red and a little bit of raw umber, and right in here, okay, I want to pop these highlights out of this flower just a little bit more, so I'm going to take some Cad Red and a little bit of this raw umber, and I'm going to go into some shadow areas like this and really just work this in. Kind of do something like this. And I'm just going to go kind of like that. You can see how this starts to take off just a little bit more this way when you put the shadows in there. And I'm going to do these things here. Okay, so I'm just dragging some of that dark out of here. Looks like it's going into the flower a little bit. And see something like this. Do something like this. Is once again go back into this magenta, some Cad Yellow, some Neon Orange, some Titanium White, and let's see, a little bit more Magenta Red. A little bit more neon. A little bit more Cad Yellow. This is something like that, and again, just really popping out these highlights here. Just kind of something like that. Okay, now I'm going to take some titanium white and right out here, let's see, I'm going to have to turn this again. All good. But right out here, do some really bright stuff. Okay, so something like that. See, and you got these nice highlights things going on here. And you just kind of run this into the dark and it just kind of fades in, as you see here. Starts off heaviest out here, paint runs off the brush, and it makes it easy to just dissipate that into the darker value. And in turn, that makes it look real and natural. And just kind of how these things happen. Okay, so now I'm going to go kind of brighten these up, just kind of glaze over these areas just to kind of brighten those. And again, I'm just going to do something like this. Okay. So any degree that you want to do these, totally put whatever you want where, and that's how that'll stay, and that was where that belongs. Okay, wherever that is. Just in random ways, just let the flower just kind of be what it wants to be. Just let the brush kind of tell the story. I don't know. Kind of go with the curve and the follow of the petals any way you kind of want to. And it's just you want. See, so I'm gonna get some magenta and some regular Cad Red. I'm going to knock back some of this. See, just like this, and I'm not going to cover all of it up, but just kind of puts that back into perspective in a better way. Okay. So I have my nylon round brush here. It is a number 4, or a number 3, sorry. And I'm going to take some yellow, or I'm sorry, some orange, a little bit of this burnt umber, and a little bit of titanium white. Okay, a little bit more, too much on the burnt umber there, okay. And I'm going to take a little bit of yellow to that. bit of this white. Okay, something like this, yeah. And I'm going to just go along and just kind of tap in these deals here. So it kind of does something like this. Okay, I'm going to get actually some neon orange, because I think that'll be really cool with these. Okay, maybe just a little bit of burnt umber to knock that down just a little bit. There we go. Okay. And I'm just gonna now what I want to do is just get some Cad Orange, a little bit of this Cad Red, and I kind of just want to come in here with a little bit of shadow just here and there, just kind of break some of these up a little bit. Okay, something like that. And most of that paint off the brush, and I'm just going to get now some titanium white. And just going to go with the tip again and okay, a little bit more Cad Orange. Okay, pulling through as I turn it to a point. Okay, and then out here as well. Okay, so with lots of water, titanium white, and my script liner, I am going to sign about right here. So I want to thank you guys so much for all of your support and following along. I hope these lessons are clear. Let me know in the comment section down below if there's anything that you have a question on, or something you want to see, or anything at all that I can be of help to in any way. And give this one a total shot. This is a super excellent piece for a lot of different elements here. You've got bokeh, you've got some detail and some values of color to mix and build up, and using some different brushes to get different more precise lines and just different effects. So this is really another simple yet very effective and rewarding piece. So definitely go for it, and let me hear down below what you guys think. And until next time, happy painting, everyone.